Alrighty, Wednesday, June 26th, taking a look at NQ here for quick session recap. Not a ton to update here on this Wednesday ahead of tomorrow's economic data. I believe we have GDP and unemployment at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, and then we have PCE on Friday. So the upcoming two mornings will definitely be more volatile than what we've seen the past few days, but well within what we have been talking about since Friday afternoon, talking about how Monday, yesterday, and today would be most likely range trading, near-term range trading, price just kind of oscillating, finding that new area of value, and thus trading within a near-term range. And that's pretty much exactly what we have seen both on NQ and ES, right? We came into the sesh today really wanting to see if buyers could show that continuation of Tuesday's bounce versus that key area of support, right? I had mentioned this was an important area for buyers to be defending, and we see buyers defend that zone. That's a positive development in the near-term structure. Like to see that type of action. So we get the bounce, we get the push into 950 yesterday into the close, and then coming into this morning, if we just zoom in a bit more here, we do have that overnight rally, right? Starting last night into 4 a.m. this morning. Price shows that nice rally. It's looking like we may gap higher, but price does bump into near-term resistance. Very clear resistance right through here at that 080 upside level of interest. So what I talked about this morning in the pre-market live stream was we really wanted to see how deep this pullback was going to be. We were talking this morning, price was somewhere around here, and what I had mentioned was, we wanted to take a look at the reaction either versus 950 for a push up into the overnight high, or potentially 910 for the same scenario, that push up into the overnight high. Now, price ended up bouncing versus that 910, kind of right where we expected it. And if you take a look here, take a look at that 30-minute bar as we head into regular trading hours open. That 30-minute bar, those 15-minute bars immediately before the regular trading hours open can really give some very strong clues about how the morning is going to go, depending on the shape of those candles and the location within the near-term structure. This is something that we talk about in the trading mentorship group quite frequently. And today was a very good example of that exact concept. You have a hammer, right? 30-minute hammer, does not matter that it's red. This is to focus on the shape, right? 30-minute hammer right at that key area, that 910 level of interest, and that pretty much marks the low for the session, right? You do get one sweep of the low right through here that sets up the spring. But outside of that, taking a look at the 5-minute here, pretty much marks the low for the sesh. So you get that spring set up, price actually makes a high, then gives you an up thrust. And this is that typical range trading, which can be incredibly lucrative if you are actually prepared for and expecting that near-term range. Now, we have price continuing to defend this key pivot. This blue area is that key higher time frame pivot, the 910 to 950 area. And so really what we want to be focused on coming into tomorrow is whether buyers can continue to defend this point, right? This 950 area, this kind of blue zone here on the chart, zooming back out so you could get a better visual of this. Let me actually flip to the hourly chart as well. So whether buyers can continue to defend this point and show continuation up through this near-term area of resistance to test some of these upside levels of interest, right? And then if they do, we'll be assessing the reaction in this area or potentially up here. Price at that point, keep in mind, it's still sideways, right? It's still sideways from early mid-June. Now, the other scenario is if the pivot fails, right? We're just back into Tuesday's low right down here, which is a key area of support that buyers will be looking to defend. So 2 potential scenarios to really be thinking about for tomorrow's session. We do have that economic data print, and so we'll kind of see how much action we have with the overnight session. I'm not expecting a ton with the overnight session. Coming into the data print, some action versus this 950 area would be ideal. We may or may not see that, but like to see price right through here heading into that data print, so then we could have, a clean directional move one way or another, and then just trade the reaction to whatever that move may be. So as far as main watch for NQ continues to be that 950 pivot, and you could see near-term volume point of control is also settling right here, just kind of adding another piece of confluence to the strength of that zone. So that's NQ. Let's jump over to ES. Now ES, similar in nature. The range here is definitely more cut and dry, right? 55.10 by 55.55. This morning, what we were talking about was how price was trading right through here, right? It had just rejected that near-term area of resistance. We had also talked about, all right, well, let's see if price actually catches a bid versus that near-term volume point of control, 55.32. I believe this is right when we were talking, right around 7, because I remember that hammer on the 30-minute developing, but shows no follow-through, right? No break of the high of that hammer. So then where's price going to go? Well, anytime it's trading within a range, you have the near-term range high. If it rejects that area, it's going to trade down into that near-term range low. So coming into RTH open, the regular trading hours open, we have price right there near that key area of support, 55.20 by 55.10, and then the same concept applies that I talked about on NQ, taking a look at those candles just before the open to get some clues. Now price resolves higher, right, versus that near-term support zone almost up into that overnight high here into the close, making fresh session highs here into the close, right? So pretty typical range trading here. ES, what we'll be looking at tomorrow, quite similar to what we just discussed in NQ. I'd like to see either some action versus the edges of the near-term range here, right? In the middle, not so great as far as actual trading edge is concerned. Best opportunities are going to be down here or up here, right? And that could either be for some type of rejection trade or a breakout or breakdown, right? So that'll kind of be the main watch. Heading into data right here, like where price currently is, would not be an ideal scenario in my mind, right? I'd like to see price near one or the other edges as we get into that data print, so you have a nice clean break. And it's not a question of how is the structure going to be developing, right? For instance, if price is up here into that data print tomorrow, I mean, we're going to know pretty much instantly whether or not it's going to be a breakout. So that's how I like to treat it. Main watch as of right now on ES heading into tomorrow's print is this near-term volume point of control, 55.32. The setup currently is better in, wow, this entire move is getting erased. Look at this. The setup is definitely better in NQ. Is this MU earnings, I'm guessing? Yeah, MU just got beat up, it looks like. So that'll definitely have an impact because you're going to have NVIDIA moving on the back of that as well. So we'll see how that impacts NQ here during the overnight session. It's just, as of right now, it's just back into that 950. But what I was saying is the setup in NQ is definitely favorable compared to ES. So that's the recap. Hope everyone had a good session, profitable session. If you have any questions, as always, shoot me a DM in the Traders Think Tank. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good afternoon.